Hello and welcome everyone to the Contributor Comms meeting on March 25th, 2022. A reminder, we are part of the Kubernetes project, part of the CNCF, part of the Linux Foundation. So we work under a code of conduct, which basically says be respectful of your fellow participants and speakers and everyone in the meeting, and generally be excellent to each other. So we have, as I've mentioned a couple times before I started recording, a lovely table now in our note stock for putting in action items and tracking progress on action items. So go ahead and start putting your stuff in there or in our notes, and we will get to that. We have a special guest visiting us today who needs to go a little bit early, so we'll do his part first. So Mickey from the release team, what's up?
Cool beans. Sorry for being blurry. My camera's decided not to play nice with me today.
I mean, it's just realistic 8 a.m. view, right? For anyone who's not at 8 a.m., this is actually what he looks like.
My natural torpor at this age. So we have a removals and deprecations blog going out on the 31st, which is a week from yesterday. We're still going through the review process right now. I got some good feedback yesterday. And this is something that we'd like to promote with the ContribEx team. So I think, obviously, promoting it is predicating on it actually shipping on time and getting all the feedback in for the ship date of next Thursday, the 31st. But it would be great if you guys wanted to take a look. You're welcome to do so. And other than that, yeah, I just wanted to make sure this is all queued up. People were aware that it existed.
Excellent. So that blog you said is planning to go out
Thursday the 31st. Yeah.
That is not a link. How did that not copy properly? I take notes while I'm talking, so.
Okay.
It doesn't want to copy the link for me today for some reason. Okay, there we go. Finally. Okay, so March 31st, you said.
Awesome. Yes, and I've already gotten a lot of feedback from Tim, but if any of the folks on this call wanted to also take a spin at it and make suggestions for what to change, I'll be happy to intake all those and do those changes on Monday or Tuesday next week, or earlier if I end up having time.
All right, I'll take a look.
Thanks, Ray. Cool. Well, that was very fast for me. Thanks, everybody. I'm gonna drop.
Well, one other thing on that is we'll want to go ahead and plan a tweet on that. So if anyone wants to go ahead and claim that, I think, was it Avinash was part of the team? No, Deborah Brada was part of the team this week, and he's not this time, and he's not here right now. So I'm guessing that should be a Deba thing. I can reach out to him on that, unless anyone else would like to take it. It's just making a tweet.
I have about 2 followers, so I don't know if mine would go very far.
We have the @Kate's contributors Twitter account.
Oh, gotcha.
That we run.
Yeah,
so we'll tweet about it there. If there's anything else coming up also that is on your mind that you'd like us to tweet about and promote to the contributor community, let us know and we'll go ahead and work on.
Actually, yes.
Yes.
There is a doc that Kat has been working on, which is a new, and Ray, you may know if this has already, I don't know, been discussed with folks, but there's a what to do now with Kubernetes 1.24 to make sure you have a running cluster. And so I imagine that Kat's already done her own sort of promotion process for this, but if not, I wanted to get that on your radar.
I don't think we've talked to Kat about that.
Oh,
okay. Talked to Kat in this group ever, recently at least. So I'll make sure we get that.
Yeah, I'll find the one. I forgot when we're supposed to publish that, but that'd be great for another, tweet comes out as well.
So she did tell me that it was going to be before my removals post comes out, in which case it'd be great to get it shipped ASAP.
Okay.
Because I do link to it, but if that's not the case, then I'll just have to remove that link.
No, that's a good. I think I agree with you. I'm gonna try to get it approved and merge. I'll see when the I don't see it actually.
Let me in here one second. I just found it again.
Okay.
You found the link?
You're about a million, 2 million places.
Oh, it looks like it's already merged. So it will
Oh,
be
okay.
published on Strange. It's going to be published on the 31st.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well,
I thought it was going to be published like on the 30th. Excuse me.
maybe we can talk with Kat and the rest of the folks about that.
Yeah. So it looks like it's on the 31st. And I'm totally okay publishing 2 things in one day. I've talked to the other blog folks like Tim, and that's all right. Typically, we do prefer 1 blog post a day, just so it goes up the blog list.
Mhm.
All right, yeah. So I'll because in order for this to change to the 30th or 29th, we would have to change the file name as well.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
this is not as simple. I mean, it's pretty simple, but yeah. So I'll bring it up in the blog's chats. I'm sorry, in the Slack channel right now, actually.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
We'll at least plan to promote both of them around the 31st.
Sounds good to me. And then we'll have obviously the normal feature blogs coming out when the actual release happens, but nothing else after this and before that. So we should be in good shape.
And are you planning a webinar this time too? I know that was a thing last time.
Yes. So webinar, the message out to PR goes out next week on week 12 of the release. So I'll shoot an email to them. And there was actually, James, our release lead, did speak to somebody from the CNCF PR team who linked us up with a reporter of some sort. And so there may be content related to that, but I don't really have details. Like I just pushed them in James's direction and he ran with it.
Cool. Well, if we can find content from that we would like to promote internally to Kubernetes contributors, we can tweet about that as well.
Sounds good. Cool. Have a great weekend, everyone.
When did you say the webinar was coming out?
Webinar, we don't have a date for it yet. Our like date for a date is next Wednesday.
Okay, date for a date is next Wednesday. So I'll check in with you then, or someone will.
Sounds
awesome.
good.
Thank you so much,
Bye.
Mickey. Next Wednesday? Does that mean the 31st? Probably.
Oh, yes, next Wednesday is the 31st.
30th.
Cool.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
30th?
Mm-hmm.
So those are both scheduled for Thursday then. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna check with the blog team if they want to move this one earlier. I'm typing as we speak.
Okay, so for the feature blogs and the webinar, we can go ahead and assign people to those action items later. But for the upcoming 2 blogs, we need people on both of those. We can assign them to Deba in his absence, since he's a member of the release team this time. Or if someone else wants something to do. Oh no, Deba's here now. Darn it. We were talking about you. Do you want those, Deba? I don't know if you caught what we were talking about. You're also muted if you're trying to talk. Maybe we'll come back to that. Okie dokie. Plan to tweet about deprecations and removal blog. Thank you, Hina, for putting in those action items. Avinash volunteers to take one of them. So, and I'm guessing you don't care about which one. They're both tweeting about a blog.
Hey, sorry, my device was hanged. I was not able to speak.
Welcome back.
So about what Mickey said, I was hearing. I also wrote that removal and deprecations blog by a part. So yeah, I can take that if anything.
Perfect. So you are on the removals and deprecations blog, and then Avinash on the what to do with 1.24 to make sure you have a running cluster blog from Kat.
Yeah,
that sound good?
I'll take that.
Cool. Thank you so much. And then thank you, Hina, for adding the other ones to the to-do list as well. And those ones will be a little bit longer term. I noticed that you put in another longer term action item in here. I think that's cool. There's also an action item for Ray to do a round of reviews on that blog. The deprecations and removals blog, I think that was.
I've already reviewed it
Okay, perfect.
during the HackMD side, but I'm going to review it after since it's already PR. So I'll do a second review on it.
Cool. Alrighty. So we had to get Mickey's part out of the way for anyone who joined a little bit later because he had to go. So that is clearly done now. So any updates and big wins from the group? Also, if anyone is new and would like to introduce themselves, sorry.
I just wanted to ask, we are having 2 blogs on the same day, right? Or is it going to change, Ray?
It might change. This is what I'm pinging several folks on. So pinging the blog folks. I'm also going to ping the Docker Shim, I guess, working group. No, it's not an official working group, but the folks are working on the Docker Shim doc side. I'm pinging both groups.
Deba should already be tied into that since you'll be on the release team meetings and in that Slack. So how should Avinash find out what the new plan is if there's a new plan for Cat's blog?
I'll ping it on the ContribEx, and I'll cross post or link the cross. I forgot what it is. Today's Friday. Okay, I'll paste links in the SIG ContribEx Slack channel just for reference.
Okay, perfect. So, and Ray to keep us informed on release date. Cool. Added that to our action item list. And I need to change this to Avinash. Cool. Other updates and big wins. There's no big wins or anything in particular people can think of. We can go ahead and move on to going through this lovely new table of our past action items. The first one on the table is my own. So I reached out to Michelle Nurali about the blog post that has been sitting in our queue for entirely too long. I reached out and said, hey, we have this blog post. You'll remember that we worked on it a long time ago. It kind of fell by the wayside due to a few reasons. We apologize for that. And we want to know if you want to continue with releasing this blog post. And she said that she was not really comfortable with it going forward right now. So we can go ahead and let that action item fall off of our list. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that from our tracking.
There's an issue. So does that mean that the issue gets closed too, or keep it?
Is there an issue or just the note on our board? Because I see a note on our board, but I don't see an issue.
Yeah, it was just a note on our board. Yeah,
Okay.
just a note and a document. So we can just discard both of them for now.
If it were an issue, though, we would want to close that.
Yeah, maybe it was just a note. I didn't actually look into it so closely.
Yeah, but sometimes those are issues and sometimes they're just notes, which is a little confusing.
So that will get closed, or the note will get...
I'll just delete it, I guess, unless we want to add a column for like rejected.
Oh, I'm okay with whatever the process is. I'm just learning.
We are developing these processes as we go as well. So your learning is learning with us. Pratish, that must be why you dropped out earlier. Pratish has a rough internet connection today, so he's in the chat. If you have anything you want to say out loud, just say it in here and I'll try to be sure to say it out loud for you. Oh, cool. So Pratish had a cool update here, which I think is a big win. There was a bug in the Zoom cloud of SIG testing. Pratish noticed it and opened an issue, which is now fixed. Wonderful. Thank you, Pratish, for that wonderful contribution to the Kubernetes project. Love to see people doing stuff in other parts of the project too. I'm deleting the note on Michelle Nurali's blog post, though we may now have lost the the doc forever since I did that. I think I have it up still. So maybe I should put that somewhere for records. Updates and big wins, adding the note about Pratish. Awesome. Thank you for the link, Pratish. Shout out to Only Dole. He must have helped out with that one. He's at CNCF now. Very exciting. Noticed it and opened an issue which was fixed. Cool. All right. So I guess we can move on to the next thing in our table, which is Hina.
All right. Also, I've been having issues with Chrome and video call. If I drop, I'll join in 5
No
seconds.
worries.
I submitted a PR. So I pulled everyone that was in the Slack group for contributor comms and got some feedback. We're going to have to remove Jason and Pernissoir from the list because they're not part of the Kubernetes org, I believe.
Cool. We should get that fixed and probably.
So before, yeah, that's I was
Fix
like,
that.
well, maybe I don't know if they should be there. And
Pernissoir,
then
definitely. Jason hasn't been in for a while, so we'll have to check with him.
the other small piece of feedback I got was that M. Broberg should be removed because they stepped away from the community. And so I was wondering, in Slack, there will be a ping, but does that have to match? So if it doesn't, I'll remove the name from the list. But then also, this is a heads up that every time there is a ping in Slack, they'll get an alert, and Broberg will get an alert.
Well, this is a good review of our current contributor comms list. I think because this is accurate, Matt has stepped away for the moment, had a baby recently, so he's doing fatherly things.
to the universe.
Yes, congratulations to Matt Broberg's universe. Expanding, as it were. So this is actually a good point. He might want to be removed from the Slack list for now, or he might want to stay on it because I'm guessing it's not unlikely that he might eventually come back. But who knows how long that will be. So this is a good note, and we should add an action item to check with Matt on whether he wants to be removed from the contributor comms list. I think for now, don't add him to the PR as recommended.
Okay.
And we'll see about the list.
All right, so then I'll add that action item to check with Matt, and would that just be a ping in Slack?
Yeah, sure.
Not if would still like to be part of I'll finish typing that, but basically for this, then to move forward, would it be a question to Jason and Pernissoir to join the org, and then I'll submit my PR?
Pernissoir is here, so you've heard the issue, and we'll need to get you sorted out on that. Jason, we can leave for now because he hasn't been on our meetings for a while. So I wonder if we should. He hasn't like explicitly stepped away from the project right now. Just he hasn't been on in a while. So I don't know if he should be removed from the contributor comms list or not. So he might be another good one to check in on. And for Matt, I could check in with him if you want, because.
All right, that would be great.
Yeah. Seems like it makes sense to me. So I will grab that one. That's what we get for both trying to take notes.
I'm here for it. I'm used to people going I don't want to type anything, so I love it.
Can relate. Also, I guess we should go ahead and I guess we'll remove these at the end of the meeting since this is a new portion of our process.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. I don't know if this tangent is okay, but I would assume that after the week of it being completed for the next agenda, anything that was closed could be deleted.
Yes, I think
Okay,
that's
cool.
a good process. I guess I should write a note on that.
So we can use Chris's as the easiest example. It's closed this week, and so the expectation would be that it's gone next week.
Yeah, so probably remove them at the end of this meeting, I think.
Yeah.
And I can take that.
All right, cool.
The meeting host should know that that's a responsibility of theirs. So we should add that to our repo as well. So I should add myself an action item for that.
Okay. I can make a note at the top of the table that they'll go away.
Oh yeah, that's a
week.
great idea. Yeah.
I think that's the path of least resistance, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's great. Well, I think we should add it to the repo as well because we have role descriptions there. So if we have a meeting host role and someone is filling that role for the week, then there should be a guide on GitHub. Granted, no one will probably ever look at it, but as long as it's there, that should say that. So I should do that.
There we go. And that also takes me into my next action item is blocked on the first one. So no updates there because it's blocked.
What was that one?
Updating the K community issues template to alert the team when a new marketing issue is completed or created. So the group would have to exist first. Or I'm assuming the group would have to exist first.
Oh, right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, you are. We talked about that. Okay.
And that's all for me. I'm still having that new person anxiety. So give me like maybe 2 more months to feel comfortable and confident in this.
Understandable. We're glad you're here and here for your support.
Appreciated.
And then Perniswar, we need to get you added to the org. That issue that you filed will be excellent evidence for your issue on that. I don't know where does anyone know where the guidance is on getting added to the Kubernetes org at the moment? There's a link somewhere. But we will find that for you, Perniswar. Or you're welcome to find it yourself if we are bad at it. I'm going to add that to like new items in our notes. Perfect. Thank you so much, Ray. I knew you would have it. Awesome. So Perniswar, take a look at that link in the chat, and I'll put it in the notes here in a second as well. There are some requirements for joining the org, including enabling 2-factor authentication on your GitHub account and subscribing to the mailing list and stuff. So you should have all of this stuff, basically. And then you need to open an issue against the Kubernetes org repo saying that you're requesting org access. You might want to tag me on it, maybe Chris Short, and we will both promote your candidacy to the org, however that works. I don't know how those words work, but we'll make sure you get added. No, I don't see Perniswar on at the moment. Sorry. Am I saying Perniswar and I'm supposed to be saying Pritish? Yes, I think I am. I apologize. Oh, wait, no, I'm saying Pernissoir, and that is correct. It's 8 a.m. for me as well. Yes, so Pernissoir needs to be fixed up and he's not on here. So I'm talking to no one and I apologize for that.
I hyperlinked the comment in the action items table. So
Perfect.
hopefully
I can also reach out to Pernissoir
Oh,
directly. He's
there you go.
usually, I feel like he's been pretty active. So apologies, Pritish. It's because it's 8 a.m. I see P and my brain just goes. So I'll check with him on that whole thing. But I feel like he's been on a lot lately, so I'll check on that. Cool. Castle needs to check with Pernissoir on work membership. All right. What's the next thing in our table of to-do items?
So that would be the tweet from Deba. Oh, never mind. That's not it at all. It's the auto-generating blog tweets. There was a working session.
And we do have Avinash on, who is going to work with Virjula on that. Are there any updates there, Avinash?
We weren't have, he was quite busy, so he told us that he would have a session in the coming week. So yeah, it's on hold as of now.
Okay. So that's a to-do this week. Sounds good. Thank you. And then Chris is out, but he did get that license added to that repo for the auto-generating blog tweets thing. So you all are going to test it out. And then if you decide that it's good, then you have the license. So you're good to go to put it in our repo pretty much. So that one's good. Just going to go ahead and delete that one. Yeah. Oh no, not like that. Delete row. There we go. And then Allison last time had offered to check in with the person on the Twitter Together issue that we had open for scheduling tweets. I have not checked in with Allison on that, but I can reach out to her separately.
I'm assuming that there was a conversation in Slack. I've seen some there. Yeah, so the guy named Matt, he just informed that he's working currently on it and he has done a PR or something. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just put a link to the Slack thread.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Avinash, for being on top of things. Okay. Excellent. And then that's it for our table of action items from last week. And I'm gonna go over quickly the campaigns in progress open action items board. I already removed the Michelle Nurali one from that, and thank you for the link, Avinash. I'll go ahead and put that in notes while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise it doesn't get done. Yep. Done. And only two things in progress on our board are the APAC Meet Our Contributors blog number 3. Is that still in progress, Deba? Or do we need to put that up to 4?
Blog number 3 on China region, and it's still in progress.
Perfect. And then And then the issue about writing a blog post after the community meetings, Avinash has already updated us that that's probably going to be a little bit while we go through a couple of iterations of the community meeting. The next one is like, I don't know, next week or something, isn't it? Soon. Speaking of which, we probably need to do tweets for that. Avinash, do you know what the schedule is there or anyone else?
About the community meeting?
Yes, the community meeting.
It happens once in a month, I guess. So it would be next month, Thursday, maybe third Thursday.
Third
I'm not
Thursday
sure.
of next month. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're thinking would have been like yesterday, I guess, for March. Anyway, so the one for April should be around the third Thursday. So nothing on that until then.
I had something on it actually. So I just wanted to ask who does the review. If a blog goes from the ContribEx, who does the review for that blog? Is it comms or a separate group that does it?
We are available to help with reviews, but the primary reviewer will be the blog, SIG blogs group. Ray is more closely in tune with that process than I am.
Yeah, so it's under SIG docs, but there's a sub-project for blogs. And so there's a small team of reviewers.
So they're the
Okay.
main reviewers of blogs.
Okay, so maybe I'll just tell Nigel to contact Ray or the SIG blog team for the reviews of the blog.
There's a SIG docs blog Slack channel as well, so you can also ping in there.
Okay, I'll do that.
You can ping in the Slack channel for help with blogs. For the contributor comm side, often when we're helping to guide people through creating blogs, we'll suggest that they do it in like a HackMD or a Google Doc first and do a first round of review with us if they want us as reviewers, so that when it goes to the blogs group and you actually have a PR for it, hopefully reduce the amount of edits that you actually have to make through the GitHub interface, since that can be a bit cumbersome. So that's something that we suggest. It's not a requirement or anything, but something that contributor comms often suggests to help make the process easier. And if we want those blogs to go up to both the dev site and the main Kubernetes.io site, I haven't been involved much with the dev site. Chris has been doing more of that. Ray, have you been involved with the dev site stuff?
Yeah, I just look at do some reviews. Typically, you also merge it, and it has to be published on the dev site first. Then it goes to the Kubernetes.io's websites. Like the latest one, I think the latest Kubernetes blog post was actually initially from the dev site, and it is the Meet Our Contributors APAC, the Australia New Zealand region blog post.
Lovely. So you said that the blogs group can also do that? Is that what that boils down to?
The blogs group does not do that one.
That's what I thought.
But then once it's published on the Kubernetes.dev, it's pretty much a identical mirror of the on Kubernetes.io. So. But
who manages that process? Is that just us?
Yes. So whoever made the PR on the dev site would make the same PR on the Kubernetes.io site.
Okay, so if you're creating a PR for a blog on Kubernetes.io, we need to make a matching one on .dev if they want it on both.
And just link it as well.
Which, as contributor comms, we do recommend if you think that it's a blog, and I think for the community meetings, it probably makes sense for it to be on both. .io has a broader audience. It goes out to like Kubernetes users and external folks who are just interested in the project. There's all sorts of folks who read that. Whereas .dev is meant for the internal Kubernetes contributor audience. And that site, we're trying to improve the SLO, not SLO, what? It's 8 a.m. The search engine optimization, the SEO on that site. So having the blogs linked to each other, well, having the blogs linked to each other and posted on both helps to improve the SEO of the dev site. So it's much appreciated if you're working on a blog and it seems like it could go on both, if you do that and you include a link to both. Alrighty. Okay, so I've noted that in our notes. Are there any new items that folks noticed in the Slack? I think I saw something come by. But I don't know what it was. I gotta go look. I see something about the beta APIs off by default KEP, which was a thing that we talked about last week. Looks like Chris responded to that because we got added by Paris in that thread. Chris asked if we were targeting the contributor sites, the .dev or the .io, like we were just talking about. Definitely .io, maybe .dev. That's what I think. They mentioned probably definitely .io. Draft a blog post. Okay, so this is talking about creating a blog post. So like we were saying earlier, there are going to be feature blogs coming out after the release. That sounds like around the timeline for this one, probably, because they're just kind of throwing around the idea right now of creating a blog post on this update in 1.24. We'll probably want to tweet about this blog when it gets posted. So we'll want to keep an eye on that. So I'm going to note that in our notes. There's blog in progress. In the works. You should keep an eye on that blog and tweet about it when it comes out. And it seems like we might also have a role to play in helping to shepherd that, like I was saying earlier, maybe like suggesting our pathway of write it out in a markdown and then submit it to the site. Maybe it'll end up on both .dev and .io, or maybe just one. Either way, just kind of keep an eye on it. And like I said, Chris responded to that one. And I'll keep an eye on it as well. Anyone else noticed any new items that we haven't talked about? And now I see the thread about the APAC blog post. So could have just checked in there. Oh, 1 day ago, Josh Burkus said that the SIG release would like another comms push on the release cadence survey. So that sounds like an action item that we need to take. So we need another, we could just retweet the same tweet. What are people's feelings? I would have to do it if we want to retweet, or if someone wants to write up a new tweet on the release cadence survey, you're welcome to take it as something to do. Anyone itching for an action item?
Are there benefits or pros and cons of doing a retweet versus a new tweet?
It's a good question. If you retweet, it'll keep all of the same like information on it, all of the likes and comments that may already be on that tweet. I haven't checked it, so I don't know what it has. I don't know if there's any particular change in the visibility of it. It should be about like a new tweet, I would think.
Mhm.
I think you can pretty much retweet your own tweets to your heart's content. They will just kind of move up in your queue each time you do, I guess. Yeah. So I don't think there's any particular downsides. Can anyone else think of any who's familiar with Twitter? Just the general workings of Twitter, not our Twitter in particular. So I don't think there's a particular downside, except that I have to go in and do it myself, which I don't mind doing because we can't do it through the GitHub that we use to manage the Kate's contributors Twitter. It can't do retweets.
I guess in my mind, since they're equal, there's the question of the path of least resistance and who has the capacity to do it or wants.
Exactly. These are excellent points. So in terms of doing a retweet, it's really easy for me to go in and just do that. Downside, I guess, is that there will be no record of it in our GitHub. Not that those are particularly important, but yeah. It doesn't sound like anybody's itching for an action item. So I don't mind just going in and throwing out a retweet. I wonder if it's better to, it's probably better to go ahead and do that today and then maybe even plan to do another one early next week, because I feel like a lot of people probably don't pay as much attention to Twitter on Fridays, especially for work things. So I'm going to take that Caslin to retweet. Cool.
And then my PME Agile coach side is going to say, Caslin, I don't know if you realize that you have quite a few action items that you're signing up for.
Thank you for the note. What all do I have? It's a good idea to review. Checking with Matt should be easy. The adding a note to the repo might not actually happen this week, but it's still a good action item for me to have on here for a little bit later. And the retweet is also going to be like 2 seconds. I'll do both of these two right after this call, so it should be good. Thank you for pointing that out.
Anytime.
All right. If folks don't have anything else, then we can kind of close up for the day. 10 minutes early.
I had a quick question. So
yes,
I'm not going to be able to make it to the meeting on Friday. Should I ping anyone or just not show up?
You're welcome to just not show up. You've let us know here, which I think is a good enough notification, which I mean, it's not like you have to notify us. Mm-hmm. It's volunteer work. Sometimes people don't show up and that's fine. But if you want to check in on what happened, you can always check out the notes doc. Or if there's anything particular to you, we'll try to make sure to ping you. And otherwise you can just catch up the following week. Perfect.
All right. I will not see you all next week then.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your help so far. It's been
appreciate
it. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording.